Hello and welcome back to another great episode of Being Well, the program that strives to create consciousness and awareness in the world and wants to make a positive contribution to humanity. I am Marianne and I will be your host. In the first segment, Dr. Mercola is going to discuss something most of us have heard about, and that is antioxidants. A healthy diet is clearly the best step we can take to optimize our antioxidant levels. So, we're going to show you a very easy but delicious roasted pineapple recipe. After that, it's time for yoga. And today's yoga routine is going to be all about stress reduction. After that, it is time again for a very thought-provoking short film from the Wellcome Trust. Today, it's going to be about the complexity of understanding the brain. Stay tuned. Antioxidants neutralizes the free radicals in the body. And vitamin C is the super daddy of antioxidants. But it's not always so easy to get our daily dose of 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C in every day. So Dr. Mercola is going to shed some light on alternative options. Take a look.
This is Dr. Mercola, and today I'm going to discuss something I'm sure most of you have heard about, and that is antioxidants. These are one of the ways your body helps to neutralize free radicals. You might have heard of free radicals before, and basically these are byproducts caused by burning the fuel your body needs and can damage cells and tissues throughout your body. And they can also increase the acceleration of the aging process. So they're really important compounds. So what's the best way to compensate for them? Eating a healthy diet is clearly the most important way that you can, step that you can take to optimize your antioxidant levels. If you haven't viewed my healthy nutrition plan, I'd strongly encourage you to do so. And there is a link for that on our home page. So it's newly updated and has lots of good information that will help you optimize your diet to increase your antioxidants. And now, briefly, antioxidants can be divided into two broad categories. One is water-soluble and the other is fat-soluble. However, interestingly, there's one of the most important ones, which is astaxanthin, is actually both. It's water and fat-soluble, which is one of the reasons why it's so profoundly effective. Now, it's also important to know that one is not necessarily better than the other. And today I'd like to talk about one important antioxidant that I typically don't mention, but nevertheless is really crucial for your optimal health. And this is the granddaddy of antioxidants and one of the first ones ever discovered, and that is vitamin C, or the chemical term ascorbic acid. Now, aside from being an important nutrient and antioxidant, vitamin C is also helpful in the synthesis of collagen and maintaining your optimal bone density. Recent studies have also found that about 1/3 of the population is actually deficient in vitamin C, and about 20% are seriously deficient. Now, to give you an idea if you might fall into one of these categories, I'm going to list some of the types of individuals that would be prone to vitamin C deficiency. And these would be smokers, the elderly, those that live in highly polluted environments, and those that vigorously exercise, especially if you do that in a polluted environment outside. Now, as I said, the ideal way to obtain vitamin C, like most other nutrients, is from your diet. So one simple thing to remember as far as getting vitamin C from foods that you eat is that the more colorful your diet typically, and the fresher the vegetables and fruits, the higher it will be in vitamin C and the associated bioflavonoids and carotenoids. I've listed a table below this video that actually describes the foods and some of that are represented and that have the higher sources of vitamin C. Now, remember to choose fresh organic foods, as these will not only be higher in vitamin C, but most of the other nutrients. If you aren't able to get enough vitamin C from your food, then there are two primary choices you have for supplementation. One is oral, the other is intravenous. Oral, of course, is far easier and less expensive than IV, which typically requires a healthcare professional and frequently many hours to administer because it has to go in very slowly, otherwise you burn out the veins. Also, intravenous vitamin C is easily 10 to 25 times more expensive than oral vitamin C. So, although oral vitamin C, on one hand, is easier to take and less expensive, it does have some drawbacks. The main one is that you can only take so much before you will get really loose stools. That's actually called the vitamin C threshold or tolerance level. And the dose that causes this is highly variable because some people will get it with a few grams or maybe even less, while others may not get that until they reach even more than 20 grams of vitamin C. Fortunately, we now have 21st century technology that can eliminate this loose stool effect and radically increase the absorption and penetration of vitamin C into your cells. This technology, this 21st century technology, is actually called liposomal technology. And it's actually the same process that allows the omega-3 fats in krill to be absorbed so much more efficiently and effectively than the omega-3 fats in fish oil, because those fats are bound to phospholipids that radically increase the absorption relative to fish oil. And liposomes similarly are used in nature to help deliver life-sustaining nutrition, and they're really prevalent in breast milk. So what exactly are liposomes? Well, briefly, they are microscopic fat particles, and they're made from phospholipids. And these tiny particles are integrated with the nutrient. And this phospholipid-coated matrix that has the nutrient contained within it then easily passes through your intestine into your blood and then penetrates into your cells because this complex more closely resembles the structure of your cell membranes. Now, and it just slides right through, right into the cytoplasm. It is important to understand that most technologies that incorporate liposomes use lecithin as the magnificent phospholipid emulsifier. Unfortunately, nearly all of the companies choose to use soy, which is as a source of lecithin, and the soy is fraught with problems. The first one is that most all soy is GMO, and as a result is contaminated with the potent herbicide glyphosate, or more widely known as Roundup. But soy also has some other concerns. Soy contains natural toxins known as anti-nutrients, as saponins, soyatoxins, protease inhibitors, trypsin inhibitors, oxalates, and estrogens, and some of these factors can interfere with the enzymes you need to digest protein. Soy also contains goitrogen. In fact, it's maybe one of the most common reasons why there's an epidemic of hypothyroidism in women in this country. Soy also contains hemagglutinin, and hemagglutinin is a clot-promoting substance that can cause your red blood cells to clump together and cause your blood to become thicker. Soy contains phytates, or phytic acid, which can bind to metal ions and may reduce the absorption of certain minerals, including calcium, magnesium, iron, zinc, all important for your health. And soy is also loaded with these isoflavones, specifically genistein would be one of the most classic examples. And these are phytoestrogens, which are plant compounds resembling human estrogens, and they can have negative adverse effects in various human tissues. And soy may also have toxic levels of aluminum and manganese, and soybeans are processed by acid washing typically in aluminum tanks, which also increases their aluminum content. So when you select a liposomal nutrient, make sure that it does not use the lecithin that is derived from soy, but derive it from other sources. And one that we use is organic sunflower lecithin, which doesn't have any of the side effects of soy that I just previously mentioned. Now, another crucial factor is to make sure that the supplement manufacturer is really high quality. And we spent many years developing our liposomal vitamin C, and one of the primary reasons is that we had to identify and evaluate the top manufacturers out there. We finally settled on Capsugel, which incidentally is the biggest manufacturer of capsules in the world. And nevertheless, though, my team and I personally went down to this facility and examined the plant to confirm it met our high standards. And actually you can see some video footage of that trip further down on this page. Now, one of the other reasons we selected Capsugel is they also have a patented unique way of sealing their capsules, and they named that Li-Caps. Now, this process basically seals this capsule without a band and creates a shell that is far more resistant to air entering. And they actually use a material that is very different than the gel cap that you would see in vitamin E. So this combination of processes really eliminates the air from entering. And this is important because air contains oxygen. And the oxygen can cause the nutrient to become seriously damaged become oxidized. In the case of vitamin C, it becomes virtually worthless as it loses its ability to donate electrons. So remember, vitamin C is an important antioxidant that is essential to many important functions in your body, especially collagen and bone building. It serves as a major electron donor in your body's battle against oxidation and helps maintain optimal electron flow in your cells. So if you fall into the at-risk category for deficiency or believe you would benefit from some supplemental vitamin C, I would encourage you to consider only using vitamin C in liposomal technology. That does not use soy and also uses advanced sealing technology like the lye caps that helps keep the vitamin C pure. So I hope this video helped clear up some confusion about the really important antioxidant vitamin C, and hope you can use this information for you and your family to continue to take control of your health.
Pineapple is an inexpensive superfood and is great for neutralizing the free radicals in the body. It is also great for our skin. So, Aliyah is welcoming us back into her kitchen. Today, she is going to show us how to prepare roasted pineapple, delicious and nutritious. Enjoy!
This is Aliyah and welcome back to my kitchen. I love pineapple. It's sweet, it's juicy, and it makes me feel like I'm in an exotic island when I eat it. Today I'm going to show you how to bring pineapple to the next level. Yes, it's possible. We're going to make a sweet flavored syrup, bake the pineapple in it for 1 hour, and present it warm with vanilla ice cream or coconut ice cream. Oh, yum! I'm also going to show you how to cut the pineapple in a way that is very impressive when you're presenting this dessert. I promise people are going to say, wow! If you want the written recipe or all of my other recipes, go to my website at cookingwithaliyah.com. Also, you can download for free my iPhone app in iTunes, Cooking with Aliyah. You can check out my Facebook, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of my upcoming recipes. So let's start! To choose a pineapple, smell it. It needs to smell good, and then find one that has a beautiful golden color. First, we're going to cut the bottom of the pineapple. Place the pineapple on its bottom and thinly slice the skin without taking too much of the pineapple itself. Now we're going to remove the eyes of the pineapple, all these little holes here. What we're going to do is take the biggest or the longest diagonal of the pineapple. So this line here. See, it starts from here until the bottom. And we're going to cut a very thin edge next to the holes like this, but not too deep, just a little bit. You see that? Now we're going to cut a second line on top of these eyes, like this. And with the tip of the knife, we're going to remove this piece of pineapple that contains the holes. See? We're going to do the same thing for the other eyes in the diagonals. As you can see, our pineapple is clean. Now we're going to cut the top off and keep it for decoration. I'm going to use a real vanilla bean. This can be very expensive, as all other spices, especially the real vanilla bean. So you could replace it with vanilla sugar in the syrup that I'll show you how to make later. However, I would really encourage you to use a real vanilla bean because it makes a real difference. Take your vanilla bean and slice it in the middle. Then open it. Inside you'll see little grains, little black grains. So scrape these with the tip of your knife and put them in a little bowl. We're going to use them later. Cut your vanilla bean in half. This is a fun step. We're going to dress our pineapple with spices. Take 1/2 of the vanilla bean and place it inside the pineapple like this. And take the other half and place it here. Then take a cinnamon stick and put it in another diagonal like that. I have 2 star anise that I'm going to put in the diagonals as well. And then I'm going to end up with whole cloves. Just place them in the pineapple like this. In a saucepan on low heat, add 1/3 of a cup of brown sugar, and I kept the brown sugar in the 1/3 of a cup so you can see how it's tightly packed. And that's around 40 grams of brown sugar. Then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of honey. We're going to cook this on low heat until we get a sort of a caramel. On a separate saucepan, we're going to add 1 cup of fresh orange juice. Add the vanilla. That's what we extracted from inside the vanilla bean. For the spices, I have 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground cardamom, 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and a pinch of ground nutmeg. But feel free to adjust the spices to your taste. I'm going to add a pinch of sea salt and then freshly ground pepper. Let the spice orange juice warm up on medium heat. The brown sugar started melting, so just give it a little stir like this as it continues melting with the honey. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, which is equal to 200 degrees Celsius. As soon as the orange juice starts boiling, turn off the heat. Continue cooking the sugar and the honey on low heat until you get a kind of a caramel. Now we're going to add the spiced orange juice to it. Stir continuously when adding the orange juice to the caramel. Place the pineapple in the sauce and let it marinate here for like 5 minutes. Keep rotating the pineapple from time to time, and all this is cooking on low heat. After 5 minutes of marinating the pineapple in the juices, place it in a baking pan. Then cover it with the sauce. And now, to the oven. After 10 minutes, rotate the pineapple. Then take some of the juice and put it on top. Put back the pineapple in the oven for another 10 minutes before rotating it again. The pineapple is ready. I baked it for 50 minutes, and every 10 minutes I rotated it and poured some of the juice on top. And as you can see, the juice has reduced. I'm I'm going to place my pineapple in a plate like this. I'm going to remove the beans. You can cut the pineapple in half, quarter it, slice it, or keep it as whole and then place the pineapple hat on top. Pour some of the syrup around the pineapple. Clean the edges of your plate with a paper towel. This is definitely a dessert to impress. Slice the pineapple and serve it still warm with vanilla ice cream or even better, coconut ice cream. Bon appétit!
There is one universal truth that makes us all equal. We all want to live a life without suffering and we all want to be happy. So today's yoga segment is all about happiness. Yoga instructor Laurie Austin is going to show us a yoga routine to alleviate depression. Take a look.
And today we're going to do some simple yoga poses that can help with depression. Make sure that you favorite this video and follow along 4 to 5 times a week. We're going to start in a seated position and we're going to begin with some alternate nostril breathing. So this breathing technique is going to balance the right and the left brain, which will induce a more balanced state of being throughout your day. Okay, so you're going to start with your right hand. You're going to use your ring finger and your thumb. You're going to cover your left nostril, gently putting pressure on it. And then you're going to inhale through your right nostril. And then you're going to close the right nostril with your thumb and blow out through the left. And then inhale through your left. Close the left nostril with your ring finger, blow out through your right nostril. Inhale through the right. Close, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Close, exhale through the right. Inhale. Close, exhale. Inhale. Close and exhale. Continue to follow along on your own for the next few breaths. And on your next exhale, bring your hands back to your knees. And just sit with your eyes closed for a moment and just breathe normally. And let your shoulders relax. Let your jaw relax. And then begin to let your eyes open slowly. Okay, so you're going to begin with a breath. It doesn't have to be alternate nostril breathing, but any type of breathing is going to bring oxygen to the brain, which is going to help give you that feel-good feeling, and more oxygen to the brain kind of gives the body that sense of balance. So the next thing to talk about is any type of inversion is going to help with depression. So anytime you take your head upside down or your body upside down, you're bringing blood and oxygen to the brain, and that helps also create a euphoric, happy feeling. So one of the most common poses that we do is downward dog. So we're going to try that first. Come to your hands and knees. You're going to curl your toes under. Press your hips up and back. Heels to the mat. Relax your neck and head. And then begin to breathe. If you want to add movement to the pose, begin to just pedal your feet slowly. But the key thing in any of the poses that we do for depression is that we continue to breathe. Breathing is one of the most important things in combating depression or anxiety. And then lower your knees to the mat. And then sit back in child's pose. And just rest. But again, really focus on the breath even when you're in child's pose. Your low back should be rising up on an inhale and coming down on an exhale. And then begin to come back to your hands and knees. And we're going to go back into downward dog one more time. So you're going to curl your toes, press your hips up, heels down, drop your neck, relax your head and neck, and most importantly, begin to breathe. Pay attention when you're breathing in this pose that your jaw is relaxed, your forehead is relaxed. One more breath in through the nose and out through the nose as you lower your knees back down to the mat and into child's pose. This time bring your hands down by your sides, palms are facing up, forehead on the mat. Nice deep breaths. In through the nose and out through the nose as your back goes up on an inhale and in on an exhale. And then slowly come up. Again, continuing to remind you how important the breath is, even in depression. Typically, anxiety is what leads up to depression. And so, slowing your anxiousness throughout the day is easily done by just stopping and taking a few deep breaths. So, just remember that as you go throughout your postures and out through your day. The next pose that we're going to do is plow. We're going to be taking our feet back over our head, which is going to put pressure on the thyroid gland, which is going to create hormones in the body that will help us to feel good. So you're going to come flat onto your back. Palms are going to face downward, and you're going to extend your legs. You're going to press your palms into the floor as you lift your legs up, and then press even harder to bring your legs up slowly over your head. If you can't touch your toes to the floor, you can support your back with your hands. Or if you can place your hands on the mat and then let the toes come all the way back behind your head. So not only are we pressing on the thyroid gland, but you're getting an excellent hamstring stretch and back stretch. Make sure you're breathing. In through your nose and out through your nose. And then as you begin to come down, support your back with your hands and just use your abs, and as you roll down, you come into a flat back position. Okay? And then just draw your knees to your chest, squeeze your knees in, and just rock right to left. Massage the low back. Make sure that you continue to breathe. And then roll all the way to one side. Press yourself up to a seated position. And then I would recommend coming into child's pose. We just did a back bend, so you've taken your back one way. I would like you to take the spine the other way just so that we create balance in the body. So just come to seated on your heels, and then just walk your hands forward, forehead to the floor, and you're going to stretch your back the opposite direction. And then slowly come back up to seated. So when you're doing sun salutations in a normal vinyasa class or flow class, one of the hardest parts is the part where you get to when you're doing the chaturanga. So you've seen, this is what you would typically see as the chaturanga pose. You're going to be on your hands and your toes in plank, then you're going to bend your elbows. And then you're coming into upward dog. But what I'm going to show you is typically what I see in chaturanga is some weakness in the triceps and upper back. So I see this. And what that can do is cause low back problems, because you're letting your low back collapse and you're falling to the mat. And you're not creating strength in the body. So as you practice yoga, one of the things is that you want to build strength. So I'm going to show you some simple exercises to build the strength so that you can have a perfect chaturanga. So let's start on the knees. Come into a position just like you're going to do a push-up from your knees. And you want to make sure that your chest is forward over your hands and that your body is long and straight. So you want everything in line. You don't want your hips up, and you don't want your hips way low either. You want to find that perfect line where your core is engaged. And then you want your elbows to come in towards your side. So I also see this, and that's incorrect. It's going to put too much pressure on the joints. So you want your elbows to stay in towards your side, and then see how low that you can come. Okay, so that's what a chaturanga push-up is. You're going to go down and then push back up. Now, if you can't go that low, try it like this. Okay, so everyone's going to be starting at a different point. Either you can go all the way down, or tiny ones, or if you just want to strengthen the triceps and you want to just improve your chaturanga, then do it from the toes. Okay, so you have three options. From the toes, the knees, and the knees will either be all the way down or partially. So let's shoot for about 6 and see what happens. Okay, remember your body is elongated. Don't lower and don't raise. Chest is over your hands. Elbows come in towards your side. And you're breathing. So, if you start to get tired and you notice that your abs are dropping, then you need to come out of that pose, rest for a second, and go back into it. It's not worth trying and trying and trying and injuring your low back. Just take baby steps. Quite of an assortment of foam rollers, but there are different types and different densities for different parts of your body. So if you've been foam rolling a while, you may want to get a foam roller that has an insert that's metal or plastic. It gives you less cushion, but it's going to be a little bit better. And if you haven't and you're just beginning to foam roll, then you can begin with one that has a little more cushion and there's not a metal or plastic insert. Okay, so you're going to begin on your side, and you're going to have the foam roller at the top of your hip. Okay, so you're going to come onto your side and you're going to extend your legs out straight. And then you're going to begin to start at the hip. You're going to move the foam roller down towards your knee. So you're going to have to walk your arms and hands just slightly. Now as you go down the side of your leg, you're going to begin to feel what I call speed bumps. And these are big knots in the side of your leg. Most of us have extremely tight IT bands, especially if you're a runner. So as you go down towards your knee, then you're going to stop. And I'm going to have you come from the knee back to the hip. But this time, as you come up, I want you to stop at every speed bump that you find and hold for 30 seconds. So it's like a self-massage. And as you hold at that knot, the blood starts to get into that tissue, and then that tightness begins to release. If this is too much pressure on that area, you can drop the bottom leg and the top leg, and then you can just keep your feet on the mat. So now there's less pressure. So lifting the feet up is applying more pressure, and then lowering them is taking a little bit of the pressure off. Eventually, we want to all get to the point where our legs are up. Okay, so as you're coming up, remember you're stopping at each speed bump along the way and holding for 30 seconds. all the way to the hip. Good. And then just go back down one more time, stopping again at each speed bump, holding. Make sure that you're breathing. Moving down. And you'll notice that sometimes closer to the knee, you're going to feel more tension and more of speed bumps, and then closer to the hip, there may be more speed bumps. But that may change with your activities. Good. All the way down to the knee. Great. And then you're going to switch sides. So we're starting again at the top of the hip. Stack the feet if you can. Lift them up. And then you're going to begin to roll from the hip to the knee. The first time you're just going to roll. You're not stopping at any speed bumps. You're just feeling as you go down the side of the leg. And you're just paying attention to where you feel more tension. Good. Now come from the knee back to the hip, stopping at the speed bumps and holding for 30 seconds. Remember, you can lower your feet for less pressure. Breathe. When you get to those bumps, remember to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. All the way back. Slowly to the hip. And then one last time from the hip to the knee. Stopping again at any speed bump, holding for 30 seconds. And as you do this over time, you're going to begin to notice that you don't really have any speed bumps anymore. And the new muscle tissue can begin to form, and your legs will become stronger and leaner. Good. And then back up. Okay, so that's foam rolling the IT band. Now we're going to look at foam rolling your calves. Okay, so with the calf, you're going to start with your left calf on the foam roller. You're going to take your right leg and cross it over. Lift yourself up. So again, we're putting a lot of pressure on that calf so that we get a good massage. We're going to start at the heel or the ankle, and we're going to roll slowly towards the knee. Same thing, you'll feel the speed bumps. And then you're going to go from the knee all the way down to the ankle. And then I want you to, this time, to come from the ankle up to the knee, and I want you to roll right to left. Depending on the way that you walk, if your foot turns out or in, sometimes you'll notice the calf is a little bit, there's more tension on the inside or the outside. So I want you to roll on that calf muscle and see where you might feel more tightness. And then you're going to come back down and you're going to look for speed bumps again. Stop at the speed bump, count slowly to 30. Make sure you're breathing. And then begin to move. And if this is too much pressure, uncross the legs. So now you don't have as much pressure on the left leg. And then lower down. And then we're going to switch. So right calf, left leg crosses over. And start at the heel or ankle and slowly roll to the knee. And then back down, paying attention to any tightness or soreness. And then now rock right to left as you roll back up. Feeling if there's more tension on the right or left side of the leg. And And then the speed bumps. Stopping at each speed bump, holding. Make sure you're breathing and counting slowly to 30. All the way back down. Good, excellent. So, IT bands and calves, one of the tighter part of the bodies that you'll find. If you don't have a foam roller at home, one of the things that I've used is a PVC pipe. It's cheap and it's easy. You can get a PVC pipe at Home Depot or Lowe's for about $2. And then if it's too hard, because it is, plastic, you can take some foam or some cloth fabric and just hot glue it around the PVC pipe, and then you've got a $2 foam roller. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to learn more about me, you can visit TotalWellnessAustin.com.
Welcome back. For many decades, the complexity of the brain has challenged humanity. It is the most complex organ of a vertebra. In the next short film by the Wellcome Trust, we will take a peek into the complexity of understanding the brain. Take a look.
It's architecturally fascinating, it's functionally fascinating. It's a structure that has challenged humanity for over 2,000 years.
The physical basis of mind, thoughts, memory, feelings, reasoning.
Thomas Willis was a physician in Oxfordshire. He published several books, the most famous of which was published in 1664, which was Cerebri Anatomiae, and it was really the first modern and accurate anatomical description of the brain and the central nervous system. The authority on the anatomy of the brain throughout the next 150 years or so.
I think our ability to understand the brain, our ability to sort of unpack neuronal function, I think has been really driven by our understanding of the anatomy of the brain, our ability to sort of describe the brain structures, and in many cases to associate a change in human behavior with a change in brain structure. But I think what has really radically transformed our ability to sort of probe brain function, it's been very much driven by technology, our ability to record from nerve cells, our ability to measure in a non-invasive way both human and animal brain function. And I think the opportunity that the challenge of understanding the brain offers us is that I think for the first time it really allows us to work across disciplines. It's about actually integrating the humanities with the science.
I think the Wellcome Trust occupies a unique position in British life, arguably in the world, in having this kind of equal and self-reinforcing and complementary duality about its mission. Clearly it's a major biomedical funder. At the same time, we also have a particular interest in the wider context of science and medicine.
It is a far cry from an electrical reaction in the brain to suddenly seeing the world around us.
We've been on a tremendous journey, but arguably we've only scratched the surface. Understanding the brain, the challenge of knowledge, I think is almost an unimaginable amount of science that still needs to be done to give us even the basic concept of what a neural circuit actually does, or what a brain region actually does, and how it translates into a behavior of whatever kind. The most amazing thing about the brain, I think, is that it's inspired so many creative people to think deeply and profoundly about what it is and what it does. writers, filmmakers, artists, as well as scientists, to really think about and ask the big questions about mankind, the big questions about society.
I sometimes think of it as a kind of metaphor for the ocean. So I think we know a lot about the surface of the brain, we think we know a lot about how it works, but actually there's a huge amount of hidden mystery remaining to be explored.
Aristotle 2,000 years ago was asking how is the mind attached to the body. We are asking that question still.
Well, that's it for today's show. Till next time, remember to follow your passion and live your bliss. Take care and be well.